What is up, YouTube? We're back here with a new video, and in this video I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make from 250 horsepower to 400 wheel plus on a 10th gen Civic Si. So we're gonna start from 250 and then we're gonna work our way up to 400 plus. So let's get started. Keep in mind, guys, this is like showing you how you can make a certain amount of horsepower reliably. I know you could slap on a maybe a fearable 1.5R and then make 250 because that's what it says on the website, but no, I'm gonna try to make it as reliable as possible. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the K tuner. You are gonna need a K tuner or Honda, but since I experienced both, I recommend more K tuner. You could use V1.2 or V2. V2 is the one with the screen. You could run TSP Stage 1 or Fearable 1.5, and you are gonna need an intake. I recommend the PRL intake. You could use a cold air intake or the show ram. I think PRL is the best intake for this car. You are gonna need a downpipe. That's where you're gonna get the most gains out of the car. You could get any downpipe. I recommend more catted. AMA Performance, PRL. I think 271 does one too for these cars. Doesn't matter, but as long as you stay with catted, you're gonna be fine because catless is, like I said, useless for this power. So, and an intercooler for the heat soaking issue these cars have, as you guys may know. I recommend the intercooler and also a clutch kit. It is the most important part because, as you guys may know, this car has like a garbage clutch from factory. So since you are gonna be making like a lot of torque, maybe close to 300, you are gonna need a clutch. So that's gonna be making 250 to the wheels and maybe like about 370, 80-ish wheel torque. So that's the first level. And you're gonna be running straight on pump 93 or 91. So now we're gonna work our way up to 270, 280. So for this level, you are gonna need the same stuff I mentioned for 250, same parts to this category. So intake, downpipe, intercooler, clutch kit, and now we're gonna add ARP head studs and a flex fuel kit. So these two parts are very important. Head studs mainly because, as you guys may know, these cars have issues with head lift as soon as you start running high boost or E85, let's say. So you are gonna need the ARP head studs, and with that you can run a TSP Stage 2 or a Fearable 2.5. So I personally recommend a custom tune. I don't like running OTS tunes for these cars because it's not meant for your car. So if you want to get like the max out of your car, all the parts you installed, I recommend a custom tune. I see a lot of people blowing these things up using like an OTS tune. So yeah, I do recommend a custom tune. And that's gonna be maybe 270 to 280. That's like the max you can get out of the stock turbo using flex view. Okay, so now let's say you want to make 300. Everything I said, intake, intercooler, downpipe, clutch kit, ARP head studs, and flex fuel kit. So now you're gonna need inlet pipe because you do want the max airflow for your bigger turbo you're gonna install, because you will need a aftermarket turbo. And I would recommend a 271 W1 turbo, almost like factory turbo. It gets you more horsepower and you won't lose that spooling time. I think that's the best setup right there, because you won't risk blowing up your engine or getting a head lift or transmission issues, and you're probably gonna get the most fun out of it right there. For exhaust, you can get any exhaust you want. I personally got the Remark exhaust. There's a lot of companies doing exhaust for these cars. You got Nvidia, AWE, Skunk 2, you got MA Performance, full race, catback exhaust, you got like a lot more, HKS. So I'll probably throw a clip in so you can see how my remark exhaust sounds. Okay, so now let's say you want to make 350, well 345 to 360 wheel. So the safest way to make 345 to 360 is going to be a custom tune, like I said. That's the best for your car. So for parts, you're going to need intake, intercooler, downpipe, exhaust, clutch kit, ARP head studs, PRL inlet pipe, flex fuel kit. You're going to need a 4-bar map sensor. You're going to need to gap your spark plugs to 0.020, and I'll tell you guys why. So like I said, for this setup you are going to add 4-bar map sensor because the stock map sensor does not allow for higher boost target, because you are going to be running around 28 to 30 psi boost with this setup, and the stock map sensors won't allow you to turn the boost up. So, and the most important part, the turbo. So I do recommend a 271W2 turbo, journal or ball bearing, or I've seen a lot of guys running the Vargas GC Plus, and I've seen those get around the same horsepower as the W2. So yeah, those are the two turbos you might want to go with. Also guys, another turbo I forgot to mention while I was editing the video, you could use a RV6 R365 red ball bearing turbo. That turbo I've seen that also goes up to 350 wheel. That's another turbo you guys could use for 350 to 360 horsepower. And also guys, make sure to use 5W30 oil for all the turbo upgrades, because that's what they recommend. And spark plugs, like I said, you're gonna need to gap them to 0.020. You are gonna get a lot of misfires if you don't gap the spark plugs. Also this time you are gonna be running E85, E30 to be exact. Some people I've seen go to like E35-ish, depending on like what your fuel system decides to like max out. That's the main reason it won't get more horsepower, but around 345 to 360 is where your fuel system is gonna max out for these cars. Now that is gonna risk you maybe breaking your transmission or maybe having some engine issues, but if you go with the right tuner and drive the car how you're supposed to, not slamming gears, because these cars are not meant to just slam gears like the older Honda engines or transmissions, you could say. Okay, so now 400 wheel horsepower and up. So everything I mentioned in the previous level is going into this, and this time you will add Honda fuel system, and you will need a built engine and transmission this time. Your stock engine will not resist the boost for this power goal, so you will need a built engine and trans, and you're gonna need a Honda fuel system. Like I said, at 360 wheel your fuel system is maxed out, and obviously run E30, or I think you could run higher, yeah, like E50 or E60 with a fuel system, maybe even full E85. Yeah, you can make 400 plus. And another important part will be the turbo. You guys will need a 271W3 or a PRL turbo. I forgot the name, I put it up the screen. So there you go guys, that's gonna be the video I wanted to show you guys what you guys need for each power goal you guys are looking for. I do recommend staying at around 300 wheel to 315. I think that's the safest you could get with these cars, and without risking blowing anything up. So let me know what you guys think. If you got any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll try to help you out, and stay tuned and peace out.